Okay, so you guys are ready. Let's get after it. 30 jumping jacks. All right, 30. Standing up nice and tall, looking over your right shoulder. Back through center, looking over your left shoulder. Back to center, tilt the right ear down towards the right shoulder. Here they come, there's Ryan. And then tilt your left ear down towards your left shoulder. And back to center, we're gonna do our head rolls, drop the chin down around to the right. 3 to the right, 3 to the left. Take your time. Keep your eyes open. Well, it feels so nice tonight. It was a little stifling on Monday night without having my garage door open. I didn't get any of that wind. Glad I can open it up again tonight. All right, shoulders up, around, and forward. We also did a lot on our shoulders on Monday. We really want to stretch them out, add those elbows. And then big arm circles all the way around and forward. Two more in reverse. Just starting with your shoulders up, around, and back. And then add the elbows. And then arm circles up, around, and back. Two more. And then arms out to the side, swing them across in front. Just shaking everything out. Two more. All right, relax those arms down. Let's move on to the hips. Feet underneath your hips, knees unlocked, hand to your hip bones. Push those hips back. They'll start stretching out those hamstrings. Two more. And then standing back up tall, let's take those feet nice and wide, toes pointed out to the side. Let's tilt our right hip up and out to the side. Reminded of last week when we did those windmills. We're not going to do those tonight, but we are actually going to work on some of this lateral motion still. And switching to the other side. Coming back to center, walk those toes in just a couple inches, and we're going to those hip rolls. So to the left, front, right, and back. Let's do 3 full circles around, and then reverse. Opposite direction. Trying to keep the legs as straight as you can. And bringing those hips back to center, feet come right back in underneath your hips. Knees unlocked, hand to those kneecaps. Let's drop them down and around. Keeping the heels on the ground. One more in this direction and reverse. One more. Roll it on up. Let's go into our calf stretch, calf and hip flexors. So left foot forward, right foot back. A little bit of a more narrow stance on Wednesday. So back heel stays down, back leg is straight. We'll bend and extend. Front leg, actively think about pushing that right hip down towards the mat. So you're starting to feel that only that calf stretch, but also your hip flexor, that quadricep. Let's do 2 more on this side. And then we're just going to switch around. Opposite leg forward, opposite leg back. So right leg forward, left leg back. Get a little bit more of a narrow stance so you can keep that back heel on the ground. Bend and extend. Two more. Pushing that hip. Back up to center. Shake it on out. Let's just add our ankles on. So point and flex, right foot first. And then give me circles to the right. And reverse circles to the left. Shake that foot out. Switch sides, point and flex. And circles around to the left. Circles around to the right. Shake both the legs out. Now let's take a moment here. Catch your breath. Grab some water. It's all supersets tonight. So it's all 2 back-to-back exercises. So with this first superset, if you have different options of dumbbell, like a heavier option and a medium or lighter option, you're gonna want both. The heavier one for your first exercise, the medium or lighter one for your second exercise, okay? So whatever that means to you, you're just gonna need a single weight too. So we're gonna start tonight with sumo deadlift. So depending on what weight you have, if you have weights like mine, I can actually stand my weight up and I can start with the weight actually touching the floor. If you have shorter weights and you're not able to bend over quite so far, you might start with you holding your bell a little bit off the floor. I'll explain that in a minute. But we're doing sumo stance. So sumo, your feet are wide and your toes are out to the side, but it's still a deadlift. So we're still hinging from our hips lead, and then we bend just a little bit at the knees. And because the toes are out to the side, the knees goes out to the side. So a little bit of a different deadlift. So you're hinging and then you're bending at your knees a little bit, okay? So if you can't reach the floor with your weight, you might be starting like this, okay? See how I'm hovering? I'm a little bit higher up. From here, you'd come to standing. So you lead with your hips, send your hips back, and then you bend a little bit at your knees. Again, if you can come to the floor, you can kind of tap the floor and stand. You might not get that far. You might just get to here and stand up. I know it doesn't look drastically different for me and my short legs, but you might have some distance between you and the floor. If you can get that far though, I'd encourage you to try, as long as your back stays flat. So you're here, you just need to make sure you're not doing this to get to the floor, okay? So it's here as far as you can, and then a little bit of a knee bend, but you don't see that my knees ever come forward. It's all me going backwards. So don't focus so much about tapping the floor, more about just getting to as low as you personally can go. We are gonna do these for 12. So let's get in our sumo stance. Wide feet, toes out to the side, knees unlocked, hips way back, holding that weight. Coming up to standing, reach those hips, lead with your hips, knees bend slightly out to the side. We lower down, we come back up to stand. Think about that back being flat, sending those hips backwards, or also pushing those knees slightly out to the side. And breathe. You're gonna feel this a little bit more in the outer portions of your glute. Chest up. Remember, no rounding of the spine. Once you reach your 12, I'm just gonna carefully move my heavier weight a little bit forward so it's no longer in my way. And I'm gonna grab my lighter weight. My lighter or medium. And if you're using the same option for both, it'll probably be okay. The next one we're gonna do is side bends. So I said we were gonna still work kind of on that windmill motion, but tonight it's not quite as intense. We're gonna do just regular side bends. So feet come right underneath your hips, knees unlocked. Other hand, free hand is gonna come to your hips. So when we do side bends, just like we thought about the windmill, you want to imagine you got a wall in front of you and a wall behind you so that you're not twisting. So the hand here is just to help remind you, if you feel like this is happening, you're probably twisting. The goal is that I've got my weight on my side. I'm reaching down towards my knee. I go as far as what I can, keeping this flat and flat, and then coming back up to center. We're going to be doing 10 on one side, and then we switch to the other. So just kind of take a look. If you feel like that shoulder starts coming in front, you're probably twisting. If you feel the opposite, like it's pulling behind, you're probably twisting the opposite direction. So just take note of that. But let's start with weight in our right hand, knees slightly unlocked. We reach down to our side, and we pull, come back up. So we feel that lengthening and then contraction. Inhale, exhale. I'm a little teapot with a weight. Ten on one side, and then you're just going to switch to the other side. Your body might be kind of going, oh yeah, this motion feels a little familiar to what the muscles you were working last week when we did the windmills. Keep those knees unlocked. And on the second side, once you get 10, you can set that medium to light weight off to the side, shake out those arms. So this is where we should be kind of feeling that in that area. You know that you're doing it correctly and you're not twisting if this is where you're feeling it too, and you're not feeling like you're doing, it shouldn't feel like you're doing like a bicycle crunch. It should feel like you're doing one of those like old school 80s bend side crunches. It's kind of what we're going after, or the way it felt last week when we did, just to review that windmill. It was kind of that same concept. This one's a little bit more easier to manage, but we're trying to kind of actually do the same things in the side body. All sides of our core. We've got front, we've got sides, and we've got back. And it's important that we don't forget about any one of them. We like to just focus right here, but we've got all these other parts that are important. Okay, so we're gonna be doing 3 sets. So we're back to our deadlift. So let's get that heavier weight out in center. We're doing our sumo stance. Heels, toes are out to the side. Remember, it's all about the hips leading back. Treat it like a deadlift. You're just sending your knees and your toes out to the side. So same as our hip hinge, just with the knees in a little bit different position. You're going to feel it more on the outsides of your glutes. So when you guys are ready, hips back, knees out, chest up. We come up to stand, we squeeze. These are for 12. You can tap the 4, great. If you can't, that's also fine. I care more about your back being flat. And once you reach 12, again, just make sure you carefully put that weight off to the side. Grab onto that lighter one. And we're gonna go into these side bends. So feet come right underneath, no more sumo stance, right underneath your hips. Hand to the side that's not working. Reach down towards the outside of your kneecap. Pull, come back up. Feel that side body. Ten on each side. Once you got 10, just switch over to your left. Here, flying in my face. 10 on our second side. Imagine that wall in front of you and behind you. And 10. Once you get your 10, set your weight down. Take a mini breather. Grab water if you need it. 2 sets in. We're going to do one more time through. Start back with those deadlifts. All right. When you guys are ready, let's get that weight in the right position. Let's get our feet in that position, wider than our hips, heels, toes out to the side. Think about our posture, roll those shoulders down and back, really focusing on keeping a flat back, leading from our tailbone, knees bend slightly. Remember, deadlifts are mostly in the hips, just a little bit in the knees. Last set of 12. Well, total. Once you reach your 12, switch out your weights if you're switching. And we're gonna get into our last set of these side bends. Knees are unlocked, left hand on the hip first, shoulders down and back, tilting directly down to the side, keeping both shoulders face forward. Remember, these are for 10. Once you get 10 on one side, just go ahead and switch. Get right into your left side, set of 10, knees unlocked. Shoulders forward. Once you get that 10, set that weight down, off to the side. You need to do a little bit now. If you need to do a little bit of that twist, just to kind of stretch out, move around those muscles we just worked, that's fine. All right, shaking it on out. So in this next round, your first exercise, you're gonna need weights for. Your second exercise, you're gonna need your band. So just make sure you have your band on standby. I'm gonna use my one with the handles today, but you could use just the flat band too. Whatever you got. So our first movement is gonna be a bit of a combination movement. We're gonna be doing a bicep curl, a regular bicep curl. Arms are come down. From there, we're gonna go immediately into a lateral raise. Arms come down. So that's 1 repetition. So we're gonna be doing 8 total, or if you wanna count each movement, count to 16, okay? So this is 1, 1, 2, 2, or you can do 1, 2, out to 16. Whatever makes sense in your mind to count, but it ends up being 8 each direction. Our goal is that our knees stay unlocked, our shoulders stay down, away from our ears, slight bend in our elbows when we reach out to the side. Let's go for our first round. So it's a curl up, bicep curl up, back down to your legs, and then you go straight out into a lateral raise. You come down, and then we repeat. Curl and lateral raise. Curl and lateral raise. All the way up to 8. Control those shoulders. 8 each direction, 16 movement total. Once you get done there, set the weights off to the side, shake out the arms if you need, grab onto your bands. So bands, tonight we're gonna do monster walks. We haven't done monster walks in a little bit here. So just as a reminder, this is for your hips. I guess I'm doing some hip focus tonight. Okay, 2 feet would go on the band. From there, if you've got this kind that I have, and it's not like a big loop, you're gonna cross your handles to make an X in between your knees. And then you wanna create tension. So you bring your hands up to your hips and you're just gonna hold there. So you should start with some level of tension in that band, okay? So feet start right underneath your hips. What you're gonna do is you're gonna do right step out. These are the wide steps, and then a small step. So remember, your feet never come all the way in and touch. You always wanna keep a certain amount of tension. We're gonna be doing 10 each side. So you can either go back and forth if that's your preference, count to 20, or 10. What I'm gonna do is 10 on my right, and then I'll go 10 on my left. All right, so whenever you guys are ready, I'm starting with my right side, wide step, small step. I'm gonna get all 10 done on my right side, and I'm gonna go into my left side, feeling this in the outside of your hip and glute. Try to step with control too. If you try not to slide that foot, especially when you're coming back, it's challenging. Try to pick it up every time. Whew, I feel that for sure. 10 each side. Just so you guys know too, if that's too intense with your band, you can just lengthen the arm and just do it from here. Okay, so that's a modification. As long as that gives you, with your band, enough tension so that you are still feeling it. I don't ever want the band to be loose, because if it's loose, your foot's gonna slip out. But if you wanna extend the arms to lighten up the intensity, is too intense to keep the arms bent the whole time, you can. Up to you. Your choice. All right, guys, roll out those shoulders, because we're gonna get right back into another set, bicep curl and lateral raise. Combination movement. Remember, it's 8 each direction. So a curl and a lateral raise counts as 1 repetition, shoulders down. When you're ready, let's go. Second round. Curl right into the lateral raise. Slightly bent elbows when you're coming out to the side. Eight each direction. Ooh, I'm feeling my shoulders from the other day. I know some of you guys are. That twinge of remembrance. Oh yeah, we worked that muscle quite a bit the other day. All those push presses and snatches and all that fun stuff we do on Mondays. All right, second time through with the monster walk. So this is the modification to keep your hands low and straight. If you want more tension, you bring your hands to your hip bones, keep them there, and just pull your elbows back, kind of like the chicken dance. And then we're going 10 each side, big step, small step. Keep that tension. Knees slightly bent the whole time. Pick up those feet. It's supposed to look a little awkward. That's why it's called a monster walk. And I look like Frankenstein walking. Ten each direction. Once you get 10, release that band from under your feet. Relax. You shake out those legs a little bit. Those hips, sides of your glutes. What you might be feeling tomorrow. Alrighty. We've got one more set to get through with this superset. One more time, curl, lateral raise. If you're feeling like you're having to swing your arms, just make sure you're bending your knees. Knees are staying unlocked, I should say, not bent. It helps you. Okay, knees unlocked. We got 8 each direction. When you guys are ready, let's start. Last set of curl and lateral raise. Shoulders down. Once you get 8 each side, weights off to the side. Roll out those shoulders for a second as you grab your band. Get those hips ready. One more time through. Monster walk. 2 feet on, crisscross. Modified, keep the arms extended. If you want more tension, bring the hands to the hips, drive those elbows back, knees stay slightly bent, 10 each direction. Whenever you're ready, let's start. Remember, these ones are 10 aside. As soon as you finish on your right, get right into your left. Pick up that foot. And 10. Once you reach your 10-second side, you can set your band off to the side for now. We will be using the band in a little bit, but we won't need it for our next round that we're getting into. So take a moment here. I'll explain what we have coming up. We're going to do a combination lunge movement, and then we're going to be doing an upper body movement paired with that. So we're going to work on 3D lunges today. So 3D lunges, it just pretty much means, sometimes I call these clock lunges too. I like clock because it makes you, yeah, I like clock lunges better because visually you can think about it. We're doing lunges in every single direction, okay? So you can think about the clock. We start at 12, we go to 3, we go to 6, we go to 9, we come back to 12. So it's going to be a front lunge, step forward with your right, step back to center. And then it's going to be a lateral lunge. So still on the right, we do a lateral lunge, back to center, and then a reverse lunge, right, back to center. That's halfway around the clock, and then we switch. Reverse lunge on the left, side lunge, and front lunge. That would be a full cycle all the way around. We're going to be doing 3 cycles in a set, okay? So it ends up being 18 steps total. So if it's easier for you to count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just count through to 18, you can do it that way, or think you want to get all the way around the clock 3 times. Each side, you're going to get 3 of them through. So you just keep following that sequence. So front lunge, side lunge, reverse lunge, side lunge, front lunge, and then we repeat around that circle. If you want to add weights to make it harder, you can. Completely your choice. I'm probably just going to keep these body weights tonight, but if you're feeling up to it, grab 2 weights and you just keep them outside, whatever bent knee is working on all of your lunges. Yeah, so your choice. Well, we're going to go into our first set. So we're stepping forward with that right leg. So whenever you're ready, stepping forward, right leg, stepping back, we step out to a lateral lunge and back, and then we do a reverse lunge and back. Now we switch to the left reverse and back, left lateral and back, left forward and back. We've made it once around the clock, and now we repeat. Forward with our right, side lunge right, reverse lunge right, reverse lunge left, side lunge left, front lunge left. That's twice. We got one more time to go around. Front lunge, side lunge, reverse lunge, reverse lunge, side lunge, and last one, front lunge. Coming back to center, shake of those legs. You can see how you feel. If that felt really easy for you, when we get around to the second set, feel free to add those weights. Easy way to make it a bit more challenging. Okay, for our second movement, you're just gonna need one weight. This one's for our chest. This is a standing chest exercise. It's called a Svend Press. It must be just named after the guy that made up, because I can't imagine what Svend has anything to do with it. So you're gonna take one weight, and actually if you have a medicine ball, that would actually be a really great thing because it's a little bit easier to kind of push and squeeze a medicine ball. So if you have that, awesome, but you can also do it with the dumbbell. I'm gonna do it with the dumbbell. You're gonna start at your chest, holding either end of the bell. You're gonna actively squeeze, like you're gonna squeeze the bell together. You should feel that kind of activate up in the top of your chest, your tank top arm, underneath or right below your armpit. Squeeze, and then you press extend straight out in front. You keep squeezing, you come back to center. Okay, we're gonna do these for 12. So you're actively trying to squeeze that dumbbell, press those palms together, extend out and in, out and in, keeping that tension so you feel that up through your chest the whole time. Shoulders are also involved. For 12. Keep those shoulders down. And once you reach your 12, you can set that weight down and off to the side. I'll show you. I've got a sand ball here, not a medicine ball. You'd actually be surprised to know that in my garage of everything, we actually don't have medicine balls of all things. How strange. This is a sand ball, so this is pretty heavy, which is why I'm not using it, but it's the same size as a med ball. So if you had a ball like this, you could squeeze together and then out and in. Might feel a little nicer to squeeze a ball than it feels to squeeze a dumbbell. That's why I mentioned if you have one, grab one. Mine, I have 15 and then I have like a 30-pound sand ball, and I'm not I'm not trying to squeeze those tonight. That's a little intense, so I'll stick with my dumbbell. But if you've got that as an option, awesome. All right, 3 lunges, clock lunges. I'm about to start our second set. If these felt okay first time, you want to add the weight, go ahead and do so, but it is completely optional. 18 steps total, or 3 times around the clock. I'm gonna let you guys kind of pace yourself this time, but whenever you're ready, let's start our first time, starting on our right side. Remember, it's front side, back, back side, front. Pacing it out, take your time, find your balance on each lunge. 3 times around the clock. $18 steps total. Once you've made your third time around, give yourself a moment, catch your breath. Then go ahead and grab onto either the medicine ball if you have it, or onto your dumbbell. We're gonna do second set through Svend Press, actively pushing your palms towards each other so you're activating your chest, out and in for 12, whenever you're ready. Once you reach 12, you can set that weight or ball off to the side. Do a little shake out if you need to. Relax. Now we're gonna go into one more set. All right, guys, 3 lunges. Last time around, whenever you guys are ready, 18 steps, 3 circles, starting with our right. Used to having weight. Usually I just kind of bring my hands up to my chest for balance if I'm not using weights, but put them wherever your arms, wherever you need them to be for you to help kind of balance yourself out with your lunge. Three times around total, 18 total steps. And then when you're ready, grab onto that weight or grab onto that medicine ball if you've got it. Actively pushing your palms towards each other. Feel that up right underneath your armpits. Squeeze. Keep that tension as you bring your arms out and in for 12. Well, total. Once you reach 12, shake it on out. I didn't mention, guys, but I will mention now, these last 2, we're gonna be doing seated on a mat. So if you needed to, we're not gonna lie on the mat, we're just gonna be sitting on the mat. But if you need to grab your mat or something to sit on the floor, you're also gonna need your band for both of our last 2 movements here. So I'm gonna use the flat band just for the nature of the type of exercise we're doing, but if you have the tube band, that's also fine. But we're gonna make our way down to the mat. And we are gonna be seated. We're gonna be seated up nice and tall, okay? So our first movement is going to be a band seated row. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your band, you're gonna wrap it around the bottoms of your feet. So you really wanna make sure that it's the middle or towards the heels of your shoes, because you don't want that band rolling back up towards you, okay? So make sure that you've got it somewhere where if you tug against it, it's not gonna roll up and come snapping in your face. Another option is if you have like something nearby that's stable, like a table or probably not a chair, because if no one's sitting on it, it's probably not strong enough. But like I have my dumbbell stand here. So if I have my dumbbell stand, I could also wrap it around there, okay? But for the sake of this, let's assume that you don't have anything around you. You wrap it around your feet. You gotta make sure your feet stay flexed. You're gonna sit up nice and tall, roll your shoulders down. From here, your back stays in the same position. You're just gonna drive your elbows back, squeeze your shoulder blades together, okay? So this is your ending position. This is your starting position. You always have tension. There's never a loose band. So just walk your hands up till you feel like you have enough tension. After 1 or 2, if you need more tension, walk your hands closer to your feet. If you need less tension, walk your hands back. But we are gonna do these for 12. So sitting up nice and tall, flexed feet, drive those elbows back, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and then release. For 12. And breathe. Pinching the shoulder blades together every time. Now, once you reach your 12, I still want you to stay seated in this position. If you felt like your band moved around a little bit, I want you to reposition it, because you're gonna need the band in the same position for our next movement. And you might find you need even a little bit more tension. But from here, we're actually gonna add on a calf press. So we're sitting up nice and tall, we're gonna press our toes. So we're pointing our toes, extending, and then we're coming back to flex feet, okay? So if you want more tension, you can either grab closer to your feet. You can also pull those elbows back, kind of hold that row position and point and flex at the same time. This is giving you some added back strengthening the same time as your calves. We are doing these for 15. So whenever you're ready, or if you started, we're going 15 total, point and flex with a little bit of band tension. And once you get your 15, you can go ahead and set that band down. If you need to relax, here's where you can kind of bend your knees, lean back onto your hands, relax that back, release some tension there. In between our sets, we're gonna do a couple seated mat stretches tonight, I think, for our legs and hips, just because we're ending in this nice position to do it. All right, so coming back to seated position, sitting up tall, grab that band, position it where you need to. In between the kind of, if you have that arch in your shoe, that might be a good place to aim to kind of hook that band into. Sitting up tall, we're gonna go for those just those seated rows first for 12. Elbows back, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Whenever you're ready, round 2. Trying to keep a nice tall back. Then I want you to get in position. Either you can keep your arms extended if you want a little less tension. If you want more tension, get those elbows driving back, hold that position, and we're gonna do calf presses for 15. Point and flex. Once you do get 15, you can release that band. You can relax your back down if you want to bend your feet, bend your knees. A little bit of light stretching here to relax the back you can. Ooh, I feel like I have a lot of things to stretch out today. Maybe you guys feel the same way for Monday. All right, one more of these. Let's do one more round through, and then we're gonna get into some mat stretching to end tonight. Give you guys enough time to get some stretches in. All right, wrap that band around your feet, middle of your shoe, if you can get there. Remember, 12 for your seated rows, and then 15 for your calf presses. So whenever you're ready, up tall, elbows back, squeeze shoulder blades. Last 12 here. And once you reach your 12, you might need to reposition your tailbone, reposition your arms, your tension, and then last 15 of your calf presses. 15 total. Once you get 15, you can relax, take that band, toss it over to the side. Alrighty, guys, so we're gonna do a couple mat stretches tonight. So I wanna start actually lying completely down on the mat. So once you're done your calf presses, let's all stay on the mat. We're gonna lie completely down on our back. Arms are gonna come out to the side. We're gonna bring both knees in towards the chest, and then we're gonna drop them. We're gonna drop them down over to our right side, just going as far as you can. You should feel a stretch in your low back. Try to keep your left shoulder blade down on the mat. Take a deep breath there. And then you can come back through center inhale. And then exhale, let's drop down now to the left. So this time I'm focusing on trying to keep my right shoulder blade down, letting my knees fall to the side, stretching out the other side of my back. And then on your own time, I'm gonna have you just kind of go back and forth. If it feels like you just wanna hold each side for a long period of time, you can. But if you wanna just kind of move slowly back and forth to either side. If you need a deeper stretch as you go too, you can start to extend that top leg out. So once those knees, bent knees, you kind of come over to the side. If you want a deeper stretch, start to extend that top leg out. And make sure you're breathing. Inhale, exhale. That gentle. This is one of my favorite low back stretches. So if you're having low back discomfort, this is a great one. Feels like it kind of gets the cracks out. Take another breath. And then we'll come back to center. Take your knees, hug them in, press that low back into the mat. Inhale, and then you can exhale, drop your knees, drop your feet down to the mat, and then we're gonna come to the side. We're gonna come back up to seated. And we're gonna do some hip opening stretches on the mat. So we're gonna do that right angle stretch that we've done a couple times. So we're gonna take, I've got my left leg forward, and you wanna find a right angle first with that front leg. So from my hip to my knee, I want a straight line. And then I wanna reposition my shin so that from my knee to my ankle is a straight line, flexing that foot. And then as soon as you got the front leg settled, you wanna get your back leg in the same thing. Hip to knee, straight line. You've got two 90-degree angles. Once you've got your 90-degree angles, rotate your hips so that you're facing directly towards that front leg, and then work on dropping that back hip down. So for me, I've got my left leg forward, so I'm trying to work on dropping my right hip down towards the mat. And then if you want to go a little further from here, if you want to feel that stretch a little bit more with a straight back, you're going to try to lean forward a little bit towards that front leg. You still want to keep that back hip going down towards the mat, but you're leaning forward. You should really feel that in that side part of your glute. So we use that a couple times tonight with our deadlift and with our monster walks. This is a good way to stretch out that side portion of your glute. And just breathe. If you can go down lower, go for it. If you need to stay up high, if you don't even want to lean forward, that's also fine. Whatever feels good to stretch tonight. One more breath. And then we're going to slowly come up. And I just want you to switch sides. So same thing, just reposition yourself. Just take a moment to get your, now I've got my right leg in front, my left leg behind. So just find those 90-degree angles. So hip to knee, knee to ankle, flex the foot. And then same thing on the back side. Make sure all your lines are where they're supposed to be. And then sit up tall, rotate your hips to your face forward, and then try to push that back hip down. Just kind of feel that for a moment first. And then when you're ready, if you would like, if you want a deeper stretch, you can start to lean forward a little bit with a flat back. Just breathe into it. As you can see, I can't go down very far at all. I can feel it right here. I don't even have to go far. So please just go to where you're feeling that deep stretch up in that glute, that front leg, that glute. You should really be feeling a deep stretch in there. One more breath. And then you can slowly come on up, taking both legs, bring them out in front. We're gonna do our hamstring stretch, seated as well today. So let's start. We can extend our right leg out, bend your left knee, and just bring your left foot in to your right thigh. It's kind of like that runner stretch. You've probably seen plenty of times. So in this position here, we're flexing our right foot. We're rotating our hips so we're facing that right leg. Inhale, exhale, just lean forward. Same as what we do seated in the chair. Feeling that stretch on the back of our leg. You might feel it a little bit more intensely behind your knee doing it this way. So you can bend your knee a little bit if it's too intense. Try not to round your back too much. Just focus on the hamstring. Don't worry so much about what your back's doing. Again, you can see with me, I don't get very far. But that's okay. As long as you're feeling the stretch, you're stretching. And then you can come back up. We'll just switch sides. So left leg extends. Right foot into your thigh. Get those hips so that you're squared over that left side. Flex your foot, inhale, exhale, lean forward, flat back. Now you start to feel that behind the opposite leg, behind the left leg. It's like stretching the hamstrings this way. You also get a good low back stretch as well. Twofold. All right, coming back up to center. Extend that leg out. And swing your legs around. Take your time. We are going to come to standing. We will do our upper body stretches standing. So no need to go grab a chair unless you want to. It's completely up to you. We're gonna stand up nice and tall. Let's bring our right arm across the body, hug it in. Twist around with this one actually a little bit. Really get into that shoulder. We worked them a lot, both Monday and today. And then back to center. Let's switch to the other side. Left arm across, hug it in. If you want to even pull a little bit, angle off to the side. And then relax, release that forward. Both hands behind your back. You can clasp your fingers together, drop your shoulders down first, and then see if you can pull your hands away from your back, open up your chest. Add on those neck stretches. Drop the ear to the shoulder. And shake your head no. And then release, arms come forward. Round those shoulder blades, now relax. And then release those hands. Let's bring both arms up overhead. Reach up tall, inhale. Right hand grabs the left hand. Let's go over to the right side. A little bit of a side body stretch. Come back to center, switch hands. Go over to the left side. And back to center one more time. Inhale up. And exhale everything out and down. Nice work, guys. If you need to do a couple more of those tomorrow or this weekend, be my guest. Your glutes and shoulders